It was 3 o'clock in the morning as we sat next to the fireplace. Looking me in the eye, my friend told me quietly, "Katie, I tried to kill myself 13 times. So many attempts to end her life, yet nothing had worked. At least, nothing yet." He and I were talking early in the morning when he told me about his past. As a teenager, he had lived a double life. Deceiving his parents and hiding things became habit. Not because he didn't believe in God or morality, but because as a 16-year-old, his parents weren't listening. His mom and dad told him how to think, act, live, but that was their life, not his. She was fine on the outside, but inside, her world was chaos. She cried out silently, but nobody heard. When the pain of life became too much to bear, she took out a knife and cut her wrist until warm blood flowed. Pain shot through her body, tears rolled down her cheeks, but if for only a moment, the internal wounds that occupied every waking moment disappeared. Would you be surprised if I told you that each of these young people is a Christian, is homeschooled, and is an NCFCA student or alumni? Today, we're going to talk about us. Today, we're going to talk about broken teens who've walked dangerous paths, some surviving, some not. We're going to talk about double lives, and we're going to talk about lies. Lies from an enemy who comes to kill, steal, and destroy. Last year, I felt alone and unloved. I felt like nothing I did was good enough, and my parents didn't care about me. For months, I secretly struggled with depression, and dark thoughts led me to the point of wanting to kill myself. I put on a show. I hid my emotions, and nobody knew. Not my mom, not my dad, not even my best friend. At the same time, another young man also found himself desperate inside. To the outside world, everything was fine. He was excelling as a debater, even qualifying to nationals. He always wore a smile. He was known for making others laugh. But on May 23rd, this young man took his father's gun, left home, and never came back. Justin Moe's body was found by neighbors a few hours later. Like so many others, he was silently crying out in anguish, never to be heard. These stories aren't unique, and we are not the exceptions. Every 15 minutes in the United States, 12 people will attempt to end their life. One will succeed. According to the World Health Organization, that means 3 have tried since I started this speech. Out of every 2 teens, 1 of them has considered suicide. 50% of us. There are 200 students at this tournament. Statistically speaking, nearly 100 of us have thought about taking our own lives. When you leave this room, you'll see us. Us with their cheery, smiling faces, all dressed up and looking sharp, masquerading as though everything is fine, but please don't be deceived. Life is painful. And for us teens, pain comes in the form of lies. Where do lies come from? Quite simply, Satan. No matter how many walls and boundaries are set, the greatest enemy still has constant access to our heart and mind. How do we get from small disappointments to suicidal thoughts? Jamie Speed, founder of Wit Ministries, explains it this way. Satan takes a little bit of truth and mixes it with a lie. So the truth that you failed to do something becomes the lie that you're a failure. Then, once you believe that lie, Satan returns as the accuser and says, because you're a failure, nobody cares about you. Nobody cares if you live or die. First lie provides guilt and shame. But the second lie is unbearable. Feelings of rejection, stupidity, and failure are easy to come by and hard to reconcile. How should we deal with these emotions? As teens, we just don't know, so we bury it. We hide behind fake or pseudo-pain instead of dealing with the real problem. Psychologist Dr. Katherine wrote on her blog, when events are excessively painful, instead of facing them and feeling genuine pain, we often deflect distress into pain that seems understandable and controllable, like that of self-injury. Anorexia, bulimia, cutting, depression, suicidal thoughts, even gaming addictions, all of these things are controllable even when the rest of life isn't. John 10:10 tells us that the thief comes only to steal, kill, and destroy. To steal the kids in the halls and student center, to kill students in schools across America, to destroy the teens you love. And and their futures. Mark Craven's founder of Real Free Ministry says most lives boil down to 3 fears: rejection, insignificance, and failure. Rejection. Have you ever heard your teens say, "I don't have any real friends, I don't fit in, I'm all alone"? This lie is especially common to believe at our age. It's an awkward age. We don't really fit in with our friends. We don't feel accepted by our families. We don't feel entitled to our own ideas, opinions, and creative tendencies. So we simply have 2 lives. One at home in the perfect world, and one that you don't know about. How will this manifest in our lives? Anorexia, bulimia, gaming addictions, or any other form of escapism. So moms and dads, how should you combat this lie? Try replacing rejection with reception. Build a listening environment. Since the spring, my mom has started asking me, "What do you need to hear me say?" I can look at her and say, "Mom, tell me you love me. Tell me I'm pretty. Tell me I'm smart." Then she can reaffirm me with God's truth, and let me tell you, that feels great. You can learn a lot by asking that one simple question: what do you need to hear me say? Secondly, we must know we'll find compassion and forgiveness when we come to you. You have to tell us that it's safe to confess. Show us what that looks like, and you'll soon learn to seek it out. Have you ever heard your teens say, "Nothing I have to say is important. No one understands me. I'm stupid. Nobody loves me"? If so, they might believe the second lie, that of insignificance. They believe they're unloved and unwanted. This lie goes back to unmet expectations. We have such a desire to please you and for you to be proud of us. Because of that, we set unachievable expectations and expect ourselves to live up to them. We expect perfections from ourselves because we think you expect perfection from us. Jamie, a high schooler, used to cut when she expected too much from herself. Her internal emotions escalated, and with nowhere to turn, she felt trapped. She subdued the real pain of feeling inadequate with the pain of a razor blade slicing her skin. Nobody expected Jamie to be perfect. So how should you combat this lie? Well, moms and dads, we need you to be crystal clear in your expectations from us. You probably don't really expect us to be perfect, but when was the last time you told your sons and daughters that? Probably find their perception of your expectations much higher than your real expectations have ever been. The cutters, their emotions build up, and they cut, build up, and they cut over and over again. The other teens bottle those emotions tight, carrying them all in their heart until they literally can't take it anymore. Have you ever heard your teens or your friends say anything to the extent of, "I'm always wrong"? Why can't I just get it right? The last lie is that of failure. They just believe they can't get life right no matter what they do. There's so much pressure to be amazing, to save America, to change the world, and for many of us, failure is not an option. Pastor Chip Ingram says to make it in this world, kids need to know how to fail. They need to know how to persevere for the hard-fought victories and handle disappointment when victory doesn't come. So how do you combat this lie? It might sound odd, but we need you to teach us how to fail. Show us how you handle the emotional pain. Remind us that God defines us, not our past mistakes. Show forgiveness. Be vulnerable. Secondly, be willing to ask tough questions and then be willing to listen. Military wives are instructed to ask their returning soldiers, "When was the last time you thought about hurting or killing yourself?" Aren't we in a battle too? And we respond, "Oh, I don't know." Don't accept it. Keep asking until you know you're hearing an honest answer. Because we might say never, but we might just say last night. When we do, go deeper and ask, "Did I do or say anything to make you feel that way?" And then please just listen. Know that your response at this moment determines if you ever again get an honest answer. Isn't truth worth fighting for? Isn't hope worth fighting for? Aren't our lives worth fighting for? If you do nothing else today, please go home and talk to your kids. Justin Moore's parents don't ever get another chance. But you do. Will you take it?